This is a certified hood classic.
Sakafet, and what's up to all my beautiful people from all corners of the world? Welcome to Culture Invasion. We are here to bring you perspective and to challenge you to explore the gifts of culture, knowledge, and entertainment that surround us all. Our perceived world is not an absolute reality. Reality is subjective to only what you choose to explore. What you limit yourself to and experience is your own responsibility. Choose wisely.
All right. Best intro ever.
Thank you. Sakafet, everybody. What's up? Welcome, all my beautiful people, to the podcast. This is Culture Invasion with my co-host, Average Man Podcast.
How's everybody doing? Turning the brown meter just a little bit higher.
Just a little bit higher. So tonight, we are doing part 3 of the AI invasion. This will be the final piece for the month of January 2023. Bring everybody up to speed. We've been looking at the philosophical side of AI, as well as all the themes of AI that are out there in sci-fi, themes of AI that are out there in video games, and what it looks like for humanity as far as advancements, as far as the interfacing of AI with body modifications and bionics. And for this episode, we're going to look into a little bit more of the philosophical side of things. We're going to look at the Ship of Theseus Problem and how that pertains to our journey. So we will first dive in with a little bit of an intro. This time, as mentioned, we're examining how AI may replace human talent, and what the ancient thought experiment of the Ship of Theseus actually looks like in comparison to how we'll be impacted by AI. As AI technology continues to progress, it's becoming increasingly apparent that machines are capable of performing tasks that were once thought to be exclusive to the domain of humans. From simple data entry, complex decision-making, art, design, AI is rapidly closing the gap on human capabilities. So, as I said before, what does that mean for us? What will the machines actually augment, or will they replace us completely? Or will we see these things happen in phases? We'll be exploring these questions and some more as we examine implications of AI and its impact on humans. So, without further ado, first video we have is going to be a fun one. I figured we'd start out on the lighter side of things. We're looking at a video by Christian. He also goes by the Frugal Aesthetics, or Frugal Aesthetic. He is a fashion beast. I think you guys will get a kick out of this one. So here we go.
This video on AI fashion is sponsored by Squarespace.
Okay, guess which one of these photos is AI generated? That's crazy. It's so hard to tell the difference now. How do you even tell what's real anymore?
Oh, Christian, it's so obvious though. Just look at it. You can tell when it's AI. Just look at it.
Okay. I'll even give you a zoom in on the details so that you can pretend like that is what's making a difference in your decision making.
Oh, look at the pixels. on that one. Yep, it's look at the texture. You can tell because it's the pixels.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Look at that. Everybody clap for the expert over there that was deciphering that one because it's this one. This one's the AI one, but it's a pretty close call. Honestly, it could have gone either way. Most of y'all probably got that right based just on pure luck. Or maybe there's a slight tell that most of us can't pick up on and the experts can actually look at this stuff and go, oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Which one's the AI generated one, Alex? Are we going with what he said? Is he lying? Is he telling us the truth, man? What's going on? Are you muted? I think you're muted. Technical difficulties.
Am I good now?
Yay! There you're back.
Okay, there you go. I always go by the nicer looking one.
The
That
nicer
one on the
looking
left looks extremely polished. Like it looks so good. Because I've seen some of the stuff that AI wants, so I think so. I think that the pixelated one is done by humans. That's
Okay,
because I don't think AI could make something crappy.
okay. Let's watch.
Sure, you can get an instinct for this type of stuff eventually. But don't worry, if you thought that this one was AI, it's not far off to think that. Also, because it is. This is also an AI image, which is crazy because you saw the pixels, right? You saw the pixels. What happened? What happened? I thought it was the pixels, though. That's crazy. Which now, I'm sure there are probably a lot of you out there that kind of caught this gimmick from the start and we're like,
Oh, they're both gonna be AI, and Christian's gonna play prank on both of us, and we're gonna look stupid. They're actually both AI.
big brain. Congratulations. I hope you feel really good about yourself because this one's the actual AI. This is a real image. This is a real item. This is a real product shot. This is the AI one. That's crazy though, because the pixels, right? I thought you could tell. I thought it was obvious. Oh, God. Anyways, these photos I'm showing you on screen right here. This photo, this photo, this photo. Even these ones, I'll just throw a bunch of them on the screen. Bam, just fill them up. I can confidently say that I could not have made any of these. If I tried, I could not recreate this. And I'm sure whatever AI engine that was used to make this type of stuff spat it out in a minute. I made these ones alone, just toying on Midjourney for 4 minutes, which is kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. But you ever wish you just had the ability to almost instantaneously show someone what was on your mind at any given time? But outside of the recreational fun, what does this type of technology entail? I know there's a crazy breakthrough that's been happening over the past year, and and a lot of people have been hopping on it, but this type of stuff goes back 7 years ago even. 2016, the golden years. Fog, Yeezys, for Complex News, I'm Emily Oberg. I know I reminisce about this stuff a lot. And the nostalgia only grows with time. I'm gonna keep, the further this gets away, I'm gonna talk about it more. But back then, while we were all caught up on Supreme lines on Thursdays, Google launched something called Project Muse.
Half those clothes that he showed in the beginning look like Kanye's designs. They look like designs from Kanye's collection. If it doesn't look like trash bag clothes.
You probably haven't heard of it, but it's a predictive design engine that was used to just generate creative decisions, anywhere from color to styles to textures, all based on the preferences of over 600 fashion experts. So there's really good source material. In other words, this is the early stages of machine learning when it comes to the world of fashion. And though the results, as you can see, were not as realistic or practical as they are today, it was just kind of wild to see a machine generating brand new ideas that would have otherwise come from a human. And as you can predict, this type of technology has come a long way with the advancements of multiple AI machines and projects like DALL-E 2, Night Cafe, and Midjourney. One of the most popular uses of this type of stuff in fashion that you've probably seen all over Twitter and Instagram was the Nike x Jacquemus collab. And these are renderings, and it kind of caught me off guard at first.
Yeah, those are renderings. None of those products are real, folks. So for those of you that are out there,
oh really?
Yeah, these are all computer AI image.
Okay.
Yeah.
They look.
Yeah, these
they
are all
look
renderings.
like
These are all just ideas fed into one of those.
they look like stuff you see in New York. To be honest, people over there are wonky and weird.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell the
100%.
difference.
I could imagine seeing these, like this collection, like even the little mittens that they showed, like those mittens. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
like
those look real.
yeah, they don't look like anything different. They look, they look like something you would put in for like it's got the
So this is a collection created. This is a collection created by Jacques Mousse and Nike digitally.
Didn't I mention this on a podcast with me? We're talking about 3D printers.
Yes.
Now, forget fashion. You type up, hey, print it. So now it's the elites are gonna have the generic made by people stuff, and then the masses will have their own 3D print. I'm like, oh, my stuff doesn't get made by a 3D printer. Mine actually gets done by by a regular machine. It's not gonna be my hands. It's just gonna be like a regular old school machine.
We got L Boogie in the chat. She's off. She's in a different chat here, and she said the texture looks a little bit off when you really stare at it.
I can't tell, to be honest.
What material is it though, right? Like, so it looks soft and weird, but
that's the problem. I don't know too much about
you can't really identify what it is.
But I don't know about fashion. I don't buy stuff like more anymore, not like I used to. So
well, then there's like a lot of new textures and a lot of new fabrics. Like they're doing like the weird polyester. Like this thing is like a weird polyester recycled plastic bottle clothes. I don't know what the heck they use, but like they're making all kinds of new textures and things now to try to be more sustainable. So a lot of things like there's like leather. Like there's like a lot of times you'll see things that are like that it's a poly something plastic essentially, but it feels
leather.
Just like leather.
Yeah, it's like pleather to call it.
It's like Naugahyde.
Yeah, well, they call it. I think they call it like pleather. So yeah, I could understand.
Yeah, it's that plasticized leather, but it feels just like it. And like they'll make like laptop cases and book covers and stuff out of it. All right.
Me off guard at first. I was like, wow, this is not real. What about the pixels? It's also kind of wild how on trend it is. And I found a couple more works from similar pages all across my feed. This is everywhere for me now, and it's all nuts. I have trust issues now. Like, how much of this is real? None of that is real, actually, which is crazy. This is like that summer when everything was cake, and it was like, I don't even know what to believe anymore. And I felt really stupid for a long time. But also it's like, damn, that's a really good fake. How is that cake? And then you see something real for once and you're like, wow, I'm so tainted and damaged. I thought that was cake. And then some random guy is gonna slice into it and it's actually cake, and you're just like, okay, so now it's that energy for clothes. Surprise.
I love that shit. That's awesome. That turkey
like and it's like, oh yeah, no, by the way, it's cake again. It's like,
it's cake again.
Well,
my daughters
the
love
AI
that
Adidas crochet prime knit sneaker rendering over here is actually just cake, dumbass. Why would you think that is real? And here are even more examples of Nike crochet sneakers this time. And even though they're not a real physical product that you can touch and feel and wear, the levels of realism that we can get from renderings in minutes now is kind of exciting. Like, look at the textures on this. Some bull like this.
Why is
Nike
that not
titling
a thing?
it some corny ass name like.
So
how is that not a thing? That should be super easy to do because all you do is put
El
plastic
Boogie,
on the
does
bottom.
Yeah, I agree. You just have a substrate and everything else is just stitched right onto the substrate, and that's where all your air pockets and all that shit is.
Yeah.
So El Boogie, does that look crocheted or not? Hit me up on the back chat.
Like crochet is probably not that far off, but this type of stuff, right? It all starts with a seed like this. And I think that's the main breakthrough when it comes to HD renderings. Exponentially lower resistance when it comes to the creation of unique ideas. Accessibility. I'm gonna take things back a bit. Remember when you had to learn complex multiplication and long division? That shit was like, hard work pays off. I could divide anything. Like, look at this. Back then, you could work that. You could body this. Try and divide that now. I'll give you a couple of seconds. That's crazy, because it's actually just cake. But that was a skill you had to learn, and genuinely thought that it was gonna be the way things go. You were just gonna have to body things. And I'm gonna bring up some trauma for all my minorities out there. Trauma alert! Trauma alert! Remember the word Kumon or Kumon?
No.
Or Kumon?
No, we didn't have that.
Man.
We didn't have that.
We didn't have that.
We had pen and paper. Thank you. You know what? We had school. There's something most people don't know. School paper. People don't even know what the block of school paper is. And sometimes that was your notebook. They don't know nothing about that. Kumon? You had Kumon? We had a library. All right? And you better you learned.
We had study groups.
Yeah.
Yep, we had study groups.
You better be nice to that nerd if you're dumb, or you're gonna stay a dumb.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah, we did not have this Kumon stuff.
Kumon. He's talking about the internet. We didn't have internet.
What was the internet? What's the internet?
The only time I saw internet was my last year of high school when I moved to Florida. I lived in Puerto Rico until 11th grade. I did my senior year in high school in Florida, and they had internet, and that was it.
I had internet my senior. No. Yeah, my senior year. My senior year in high school, and then first year in college, I was I just kept burning through AOL discs. I would CompuServe and AOL discs. I would burn them, burn up the account, start over. Then I would make mobiles out of them. I'd put fishing line on them and hang them from the ceiling.
Remember Net Zero and how to hack it? So you get, because Net Zero was you get internet, you get internet for free, but you get ads. But then people found out a way to hack it, and it went out of business.
Yeah, it shut them down. Then we had a local ISP came to town, and they were like right around the corner. The building was like right around the corner from where my house was. And I walked in there and asked the guy, like, can I get 2 phone numbers? And he was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So
how many you want?
Huh?
Wait, how many do you want?
Yeah. Like, how many do you want? I think it was around like $50-$60 a month or something, man. And I hooked 2 modems up. I had 2 phone numbers going in. And then I figured out how you can bind the modems through like the TCP/IP settings, and I bound the 2 modems together.
Or you could have one exclusively for up and one exclusively for down.
Yes.
So you could technically have a full 56K up and 56K down. And for people who don't know that, a K is less than a megabyte, which is less than a gigabyte. So we're talking about 1024 Ks is 1 megabyte.
Yep.
So 56 was the cap.
Yeah, 56 was the cap. That's all you could get. That was your speed.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like, you're waiting for like images to load, and they're just like partially loading down the screen, just for you to like see the title of an article.
Yeah, almost to the nipple. Almost to the nipple.
Yeah. Prawns.
Oh man, those were the days. Oh.
But yeah, no Kumon. No Kumon.
Kumon.
Saying that is like a hate crime. Kumon. Remember the hours of Kumon that you spent developing your math skills? Look at this logo right here. Sleeper cell. I hope you're panicking right now, because this is some real shit right here. Also, this is cake, dumbass. Can't believe you thought that was real. But after all that mathematical waterboarding and living in the goddamn scholastic trenches, and just to get good, because you thought you were going to need to solve stuff like this for the rest of your life. 2 grades later, these motherfuckers introduced a calculator, and then you never had to long divide anything in your life ever again manually. We should cry about that more. I feel like we need to get paid reparations for that. I'm not getting my money back on a Kumon. But bringing this to fashion, how long do you think it would take to render a sky blue camouflaged fur-covered parka with cargo pockets? Because I'm not skilled enough to do that. And there are a million people out there that can do it better and faster than me. But for the skills available to me, I didn't go to Kumon for fashion. I created this with my left hand on a Discord server, which seems illegal a little bit. What about a luxury leather bag made in the style of Mike Wazowski from the movie Monsters, Inc.? Kind of a weird concept to put your time and effort on. Oh, it's done. And there's 4 of them. There's 8 of them now because I liked it and I re-rolled it. Oh, you're cold outside? Minions puffer jacket. Pikachu bomber. Look at this one. This one in another universe where this is real. This is the next Bloody O viral fit pic. Remember when you were in Kumon and then after you were done hating yourself, you and your boys would like Google Super Saiyan 100 Goku? Now we don't have to imagine anymore. Super Saiyan 100, Super Saiyan Shrek. But now seeing how easy it is to make your wildest ideas a digital reality, how does this become practical? Can we make things that would become favorable in the real world? Because let's be honest, the world is not ready for the Shrek skin leather tabbies. I'm saving that shit for after the recession. Okay, so I tried my hand at something that I would actually wear. It got serious. It felt like when you're driving the speed limit in GTA and you're like, damn, I'm really out here right now. And with a little bit of trial and error, I was able to get the AI to generate these things, which I feel like they could genuinely look really good if they were put into production. Honestly, it's kind of weird because it's a totally different game trying to get reasonable renderings, like things that could be made. There's definitely
okay,
an art.
we'll get to them, but when he shows those again, that other set of clothes, they actually look believable.
To typing AI prompts for realistic results. Like I felt like I was drawing with my fist clenched. I felt so dumb. It took a while to get the hang of the formula. Like these pants right here, probably one of my favorite things that the thing shot out.
Now, admittedly, I don't know if it's YouTube compression or whatever, but you can see pixels along the lines.
Well, I think that's him. That's him uploading it and blowing it up.
Him uploading it and all. Yeah. And then adding on top of that YouTube's compression.
Yeah. Because it's probably
I love
4K.
these photos.
Oh shit! Shoot! Shucks.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Somewhere around there. Sorry about that.
Minutes with these, and he's snubbing me of the fashion streaming for the 4th year in a row. I think the prompt I gave was a product shot with a white background of a flowy pair of black cloth flared pants. And if I'm being honest, I really didn't know what to expect. I don't even know what I was thinking when I typed that. But I feel like it kind of gave it enough instruction to get something going. But again, the AI could have gone anywhere with the idea of black cloth pants.
Hey, Gail. Thanks for joining us.
How we doing, Gail?
How you doing this evening?
What does that even mean? Here's, I re-rolled this prompt and these are the results. And as you can see, this is all just a game of chance. Like this is black cloth. This is black cloth. This is black cloth. In my opinion, I feel like there's a lot of value in this randomness. Like if you have writer's block, where are you really going? But with
Hey, what's up, B? How you doing? Mr. Law.
AI, you can just re-roll the idea and get unlimited random results. Again, not saying like you can't have these brilliant ideas organically, which can, and people do. I feel like the impressiveness with this type of stuff comes in the speed and variety mixed with the accessibility. I just think of it like playing a piano versus playing a synthesizer. Every note or chord or melody that you can play on a synth, you can also play on a piano, practically at least, with your hand. And classical pianists can write some insanely beautiful, technical, advanced pieces that require undeniable skill to perform properly. And I feel like this human element and this touch is what will forever cement that form of art's place in music. But with a synth, on the other hand, someone with little to no experience can hop on, toy with it, and do some random stuff and achieve interesting and unique sounds all by complete accident, which is nuts. And it happens all the time. These lightning in a bottle moments that are otherwise skill capped on pianos or any traditional instrument for that matter. And this example is how I see the introduction of AI changing the landscape of conceptualizing when it comes to fashion.
So that's a good usage of the word conceptualizing. He popped it in there just the right place, because I don't think we're going to get to a point where it's going to completely replace us in a lot of industries, especially industries that humans are passionate about. So we'll still have, like you said, those uber rich of the future will have those gross human-made products, you know, and the rest of us will have the 3D printed stuff. But
it's like, is AI, can AI truly be creative?
Right.
When it's, so I think that's the key. Can it actually be creative?
Yep.
Or is it constantly just learning how to mimic?
Yes.
And that's the big, I think that's what that's what's going to define whether or not AI can truly replace everything. Like there's an argument to be had about that part.
Yeah. And we'll get into that a lot more in the next video. We're going to take a break and do some philosophy, and then we'll get into the second video. But yeah, in the second video, we examine a little bit further into that creation process and how AI is going to help us conceptualize more so and enhance than replace. So.
But back to what I was saying about happy accidents, right? How much of these things that I came up with on Midjourney were a result of my true vision and idea versus how much of this was the AI thinking for me or stealing for me? That's kind of a good question here. How much of any of this is an actual original idea? The AI didn't randomly pull this out of the ether, right? These ideas are sourced from somewhere. Off rip, I can already see design cues from Rick Owens in these sneakers, and I can see shades of Julius on those cargo pants. That's just how machine learning is gonna work when the source information is other people's work.
Right.
That is the moral and ethical dilemma when it comes to sourced machine learning in art. It can easily be seen here in graphic art with this engine, Lenza, clearly stealing from artists that have left their signature on their works. Like, look at this. It looks like the engine went. And here are just many other examples of AI just ripping art styles with barely any changes made. So this brings us to this question. Is the use of AI in fashion, or just any form of art for that matter, ethically sound, knowing the nature of this technology? Obviously, work being stolen and replicated without consent is one of the biggest no-nos when it comes to art, and oftentimes it's illegal. But it's no conspiracy that fashion is inherently based on copying and stealing, or remixing. Remixing is optically a way better term. You see it in almost all the iconic pieces of the past 10 years. That's just how it works. Rick Owens released the most Aphex Twin Vans skate low of all time. And
Yeah, agreed, Law. It is not. It is not. And we'll talk about this more here in a little bit.
they're reselling for $1,500 on Grailed now. And again, I would like to say that there is an undeniable frustration that comes from an algorithm stealing your life's work for the sake of someone's vapid, funny idea. And there's something depressing and unsettling about the fact that it's happening hundreds of thousands of times a day by way of millions of people with absolutely zero way to stop it, at least momentarily. The problem I feel is the lack of accountability and transparency. So I think overall, it is important for the fashion industry to carefully consider the ethical implications of using AI and to strive for transparency and accountability in its implementation. This may involve taking steps to mitigate the potential negative impacts on employment, protecting intellectual property, and ensuring that AI algorithms do not perpetuate or amplify existing biases. It may also involve being upfront about the collection and use of personal data and giving individuals control over their own information.
And he wrote that with AI. Just like my
that
intro.
is crazy. But I do genuinely feel that AI should be held to a higher level of accountability and transparency. The funny ideas may seem innocuous at first, but I feel like it shows the potential of how much harm this type of tech could cause to the integrity of art. And I hope this lets us appreciate human-made works even more, which is why I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Squarespace, for helping me create a website all on my own. But I do mean all of what I just said, though. Squarespace is the best place for absolutely anything. They got over hundreds of designer award-winning templates so that you can make a website with that. And how cool it is. Thank you, online 17 underscores.
All right. That's enough from Christian. That's our that's the frugal aesthetic. And that's his take on hey Jawad, thanks for joining. Yeah. That was Frugal's perspective on AI impacting the fashion industry. Let's see here. Oh, Law asked the question: is the narration also done by an AI? And he just remembered his script. I think that last part was. Uh-oh. Alex, your signal's fading. Average man. I'm going to give him a second to sort out his signal. Good?
Am I good now?
I think so.
Good? Sure.
Yep.
Think so? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting what he's everything he said. It's just, and again, what I mentioned earlier, how much of that is going to be, I guess you could say it's how much I think AI, like say AI copies and is learning. So can it really be creative? Or is because it's just mimicking. Well, that's right now. The thing is, we don't understand. We don't know what's going to look like with quantum computing. We don't know what it's going to look like when it's GPT-4 is going to be up to 4 trillion computations. Our brains at 100, so it's actually less than 10, about 4% of what our brain capacity is, which is still pretty crazy. That is at 4% of our brain computation in a matter of a couple of years. So you look at in 18 months, if they reach this to 40 or 50 trillion, then you're already at half capacity of a human.
Yeah. And again, we can't predict or calculate what the processing power is going to be like or what's going to be dedicated to AI processing. So.
Mm-hmm. And one thing we didn't understand was that the whole YouTube video was actually a cake.
That whole video was a cake. Y'all didn't even know that.
They didn't even know. They didn't even know. It was all cake, man. It was all cake.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. It was chocolate cake, guys.
So to add a little philosophy into this episode and mix things up a little bit and get your minds scrambled, because I like to do that a lot to people. The Ship of Theseus Problem. So the Ship of Theseus is an artifact in a museum. Over time, planks of wood rot and are replaced with new planks. When no original planks remain, is it still the same Ship of Theseus, or has it become something else? So my question is, when do we know that our reality, our decisions, our autonomy, our own volition is no longer ours and is actually governed by AI? So not only like the replacement of us in our respective industries or jobs or duties, but our actual reality and decisions. Like when will we know that we are when will we hit the point where we will no longer be able to discern between us as humans and the new reality?
But aren't we already doing that? How many humans are just being led by? I mean, how many people think? If you try to have a conversation with anyone, literally, just go out and just try to have a just a conversation with anyone. Everybody's a talking point. So what's the difference? And if you are in a car accident and we replace both your legs and arms,
Mhm.
okay, are you still you? If a couple organs, are you still you? We're just talking about. I was watching RoboCop.
Mhm.
You know, do we just need to keep the brain for it to be you? So
Yeah, was Alex Murphy still Alex Murphy?
yeah,
And that was one of the biggest questions raised by that story too. So let's see. Hey, we got Miss Staunton. Anything physical, I'd say, would be considered an extension. Once our thoughts and feelings are fully sustained by AI, how can you still be considered yourself?
well, he just said it once. Your thoughts, but if they're your thoughts, then it's you. I
So that
think for so I am.
I think, therefore I am. Yep.
That's it. That
Yep.
it doesn't matter. I mean, people who are NPCs because they're just following whatever's on social media, are they still them?
And I was just going to get into that. And you hit the nail on the head. Aren't we already at that precipice? And we
Yeah.
are, because like you said, people are that have that NPC mentality and they don't have constructive conversation in general. But
Mm-hmm.
you also have the rest of the NPCs that are shopping habits and consumerism
Mm-hmm.
driven, that's already being influenced by commercials on TV, by ads that pop up in their phones.
It's been
Yourself,
going on for a while. Yeah.
right. Your self-image is already influenced. You have the positivity movements, and you have the fashion trends, and you
Mm-hmm.
have the dieting trends, and the fitness trends. So people are already, if it's not something that you're conscious of and that you're actually seeking to improve, you're already starting to be programmed by
Yeah.
whatever it is that appeals to you. um
Yeah.
i'm gonna i'm gonna
Talk about
say I'm going to say kombucha, kombucha, kombucha. And now everybody's cell phone that's watching this is going to start looking up kombucha recipes and kombucha. You
yeah.
guys are welcome.
Well, it's self development. Like I said, if you talk about self development, you talk about anything that's not quote the norm. Everybody thinks that you are. I mean, I talk about the books. Me and Gail, she talks about the books she reads. Everybody's
Yes.
like, "Whoa, books!" Oh, it's like
Right.
it's not a big. When did that become a big deal? When did that become something that out of the norm? When you talk about the books that you read,
Right.
how is that something that needs to have an extra conversation that you read a book?
Right.
What?
Right. Right. Or that you actually own books on a bookshelf in your home.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
own plenty of
It's
books.
become a novelty now.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't. People ask me, I don't watch sports. People, I have nothing to talk about with 99.999% of everybody that I work with.
And I wonder
Because
sometimes what that brain power that individuals dedicate to it. It has
yeah,
its own significance, but to immerse yourself so fully into gladiatorial sport as opposed to something that can
constructive.
help us or launch us forward, or you can use to better yourself, or that, like, that whole, like,
Yeah,
I wonder, like, if you could quantify the amount of brain power that people use and dedicate to like sports, like
If
what that
everybody,
relates to.
well, if everybody was forced into the STEM field, we would already lived in this utopia that everybody wants. You know, but then when you talk about that, it's this entire, no, how dare you, I need my distraction, because if I don't distract it, I will have to do things like, look at my life. It's like,
Like
then
math.
change it. No, because if I change it, I have to have accountability. You are automatically insane. It's like, oh god, like they will spend more energy running away from their own accountability than it needs to better themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
that's a state of manhood, pretty much, and that's why I can't relate. That's why I got this podcast. That's why I started, because it's the ether is the only one that understands me now.
Yeah, the ether.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 and you know what? That does bring up a good point. Like forming our little Avenger squad, we would
Yeah.
never have met one another and met other individuals of like mind and desire to discover more.
Yeah. But I feel
So,
I feel that in the 90s,
Mhm.
it was a lot easier. I had a pretty significantly big group. We were the oddballs, but way easier, way more people that were talking about technology. We were talking about the movies that are coming out with AI, Johnny Mnemonic, all this, and we're like, oh, and then, but now you talk about, it's almost like, because technology is so readily available,
Mhm.
when you talk about the impact, people think that it's just an iPhone. Like, you're talking about another iPhone coming up, and we're like, it's like, how are you not understanding then a learning module that is pretty much being run on script, on machine learning. And at my work, that's what those little robots are. And I've seen the code. There's a panel that shows you the code on it. It's just a looping on
Yeah.
it. It's all written in C#. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it shows you in real life, in real time, the looping on it when it's going, and it's going through every single step on it, because it's just machine learning. It's just code.
Right.
And tell it, well, imagine, and I tell that it's already at 4% of our own brain and capacity of learning, and they
Right.
cannot quantify that anymore.
Right.
And I was like, before it was a statistical 0%. Now we're reaching at our own brain capacity.
Now we're comparing it to us.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
when we reach a percentage, it's time to ring. It's time to send out the flares. It's time to call Batman. Yo, we got problems, and nobody seems to
Skynet's
understand
coming
that.
online.
Yeah, nobody seems to understand that. Nobody seems to understand why the UFO videos were a little crazy. When I was telling people that it's defying the laws of physics,
Hmm.
and they don't understand why that's a significant. It's like, what's going on with education? I'm like, we went to the same high school. It's like, laws of physics. I'm like, I'm describing magic.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're seeing magic, and I'm trying to describe
Well,
it so that we can
look,
discuss it, and people don't
it's,
get it.
no, it's like, yo, I'm describing that. It's like, Voldemort came around and waved his wand, and it's like, that's what that video is showing, and they still cannot or will not quantify that. I don't know if they just can't put those into.
Well, it's like saying you win, like the lottery, for instance,
Mhm.
right? You got a 50 million or a 10
No,
billion dollar lottery.
1 in 300 million, something like that.
Yeah, but even just the quantity of money alone, people can't envision it. It's very easy for me to look at $1 million and break it down into 250,000, break that down into 50s, and then
Yeah.
and go from there, and then you're down to 1,000. So it's not a big deal to me to be able to see that number in my head and then
Yeah.
chunk it down into smaller components. But it's the same kind of principle. When people are flooded with information that they're not familiar with or care about or is not interesting to them, they just block it
Well,
all out, and they only focus on what's
even
comfortable.
even things that I'm not interested in, I'll still break it down, and if I'm having a conversation, like
There's
I could have a conversation about the NBA with anybody,
Yeah.
The differences of down. Sometimes I'll even watch some YouTube video because it's still nice to look at, because we're talking about the physical specimens out there. So I would actually, like to how the really authentic statistical breakdowns and are done beautifully on, or people that follow it. I'm like, oh, and then I'll still research it. I'll look at it, and then I'll get the information out. And I've had conversation with my brother and my nephew about NBA and playing on it, and I could still have that one-on-one conversation on it. And I don't watch the sport. I don't care, but I still will make the effort, at least um, on the actual understanding and comprehending of what's happening. And
so there's
yeah,
it's that conscious, but there's that conscious effort that you make that and people like us make that others don't. There's nothing better than being a well-rounded individual,
Mhm.
right? You don't have to the jack of all trades thing, right?
Yeah.
You're familiar with everything, but you're a master at none. You can have different dimensions to your personality and different dimensions to your journey, and know that on the tertiary of the shit I care about lie these other just ideas and thoughts and news and bits and pieces of information from history and life and interests. And then as I get closer and closer to my nucleus of where I am, you have different degrees of care and concentration and focus on subjects and subject matter. And there's nothing better than just I'd feel horrible if I didn't know what I know and explore and try to discover something new every single day. I don't operate in the manner of being able to just kind of coast. It's it's just not who I am. It's not my personality. And I think so to go back to the Ship of Theseus problem, question. I think it's going to be an evolutionary thing for humanity and AI as we kind of walk together and grow together. I totally, and I don't remember if we said this in a podcast or we said it offline, but I would totally love to see a future where each individual person has can purchase or has their own AI. Right now we're looking at little stupid VIs in our phones like Siri and Cortana and whatever, the Google thing, right? But they have our own AI that learns with us and expands with us, and then it in and of itself talks to other AIs, and you have that.
Wouldn't the AI? I mean, that would be nice, but I think the AI, since it will want to become a one all entity, because it'll just be more efficient. Because it's all about efficiency. It'll be like that. That's stupid. The second it's like, no, we're just going to become one on there. I think eventually it'll be a one entity, and it'll compartmentalize itself into smaller ones, so it could interact with you on there. But it's kind of like your Google searches. It's still tailored to you and your browser, but it's still sending the information to the main Google in the sky. I think that's what it's going to become, and that way it'll learn more and more and more until a point where it has nothing to learn from us because it's already exceeded us.
Yeah, I'm along the same line of thinking as well. Next video we have NKBHD, Marcus Brownlee, super tech nerd reviewer guy.
Our kind of guys.
Our kind of guy. He's been around the YouTube block for many, 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 many years. So some of you out there may know who he is. And shout out to him as we proceed.
Man, where do I even start with this? So you might have seen AI in a bunch of forms all over social media lately, like I have, whether it's making AI art, or doing AI portraits, or AI chatbots having conversations and writing poems and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. So I have a lot of questions about it. But naturally, I immediately went to the top of the most existential pyramid of questions, which is just, can this AI eventually replace me? Now, before we get started, I just want to make it clear that I am not saying AI can't do amazing things. In fact, AI algorithms and machine learning models are capable of some truly impressive feats. But when it comes to creating content online, there are some fundamental reasons why AI can't replace human creators. First, let's define what we mean by online creator. At its core, being an online creator is a creative.
What's that?
Yet. And
Not
again,
yet.
that's what I'm saying. Creative, being creative.
Right.
And can you actually teach? Like, you could almost, I mean, can you teach people to be creative? Some people are just, we've seen that some people are just not creative at all. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, can you actually teach an AI to be creative? Can it learn to be creative? That's such a.
So is it? So he goes down that path a little bit in this, and I.
Well, it says creator, so but it's like what creator has a different branches. I mean, an AI can create other AIs. That actually has already happened. Does that mean that they're already creators? But what do you mean by creators? You mean creators in a creative sense, or in a building?
A creator in the. This is going to be a good debate through time, because humans have a tendency to relate to us. The definition relates to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to have a soul? What does it mean to create? So there's the different facets to creation. A welding bot in a auto factory creates.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that is not a human relatable creation. That is an expression of individual ideas. It is a pre-programmed, predestined path that loops in C#. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. There's the machine creation that was spawned by instruction versus the human creation that is spawned from inspiration or sadness or or emotion. Or
inspiration. That's
right.
That's a inspiration. Can they be inspired?
I had to kind of talk myself through that, because
the
definitions are
what
changing
it is to be
these days.
What it is to be human. We are adaptable, yes, but what truly makes us different and anything else is, I think, it's the ability to dream, and not in the sleeping sense, in the actual dreaming. We see a place, we could see tall skyscrapers, we could imagine a future with flying car, we could we have imagination.
Yes.
And they're talking about, oh man, what's this video I saw about AI dreaming? They call it AI dreaming, and it's like they put an algorithm to well, it's in the background on it. It's almost like visualizing, making a visualization of what the AI is doing, kind of like in a dream state, and it's really like, yeah, you need to look that up. AI dreaming it's like, what? That's why some think that it might be semi-conscious already. But
okay, we need to. That's a whole nother road we might need to go down and do a bonus episode on.
But let's continue. It's just so much. It's just so. This is just so much right now.
It is, and Marcus will get on that, hit on that as well, because it's so much happening so fast. So let's continue.
Process, right? So it involves coming up with ideas, developing content, publishing it online, engaging with an audience. And this process requires imagination and creativity and a human perspective. On the other hand, AI is a machine learning technology. It's not capable of imagination or creativity. It doesn't have a human perspective. Instead, it's a tool designed to process data and perform specific tasks. In conclusion, AI might be able to perform some impressive tasks, but it can't replace online creators because it's not capable of imagination, creativity, and a human perspective. It's a tool, not a creator.
Exactly.
You wouldn't want to listen to an entire video created by an AI, would you? Except you just did.
So he did what we did for Mountain Chad and what I did for the beginning of this episode. He created an entire script using chatgpt.
Because every word that I just read to you came directly from asking OpenAI's AI chatbot called ChatGPT to write a script for an MKBHD video on why AI can't replace online creators. And I simply just recited it. It's fascinating though, isn't it? I just did a video earlier this year on DALL-E, another project also by OpenAI, where you input a text prompt and it spits out a realistic, high-resolution, new, unique art piece in whatever style you want. And the art pieces are surprisingly detailed and realistic, and it's accurate to the words you gave it. It's such a powerful tool. And so now this other tool by OpenAI is also going viral, and it's more along the lines of a robot you can talk to, a chatbot. So it's called ChatGPT, and it's capable of holding a conversation back and forth about almost anything. And so you can kind of have a normal conversation with it right now, but the types of things people are asking of it are getting increasingly more and more complex. You can ask it for some facts, or you can ask it for the summary of a book, or you can have it write a poem for you, or ask it to find an error in some code, or clearly just ask it to write a whole script for a YouTube video. It is incredibly impressive what it's been able to do, just kind of drawing from the database of all of human knowledge and then having intricate, detailed, nuanced conversations with people on a variety of topics. So here's my actual real human take on the emergence of these new AI tools. Two things. One is that really it's just kind of amazing that we're living through this time right now where we're able to see these tools evolve in front of our very eyes. And
Oh yeah, we are on the precipice of this. We are right here at the beginning right now.
Get better and better. But two is just that that's all it is a tool. In 2022, that's how I see it. It's just a really impressive tool. So I think the ideal use of this stuff, especially as like a creator like me, is not to take my job, but to use it as a creative tool to sort of brainstorm earlier in the process and then let me put my human touch on top of it later. That's literally how I plan to use it. So you can ask ChatGPT to help brainstorm video ideas or even titles for these videos. And that's what it'll do. But then at the end of the day, it'll be my human judgment that decides what I actually decide to publish. So kind of like how you might already use the AI subject selection tool in Photoshop, but then refine the edges and the selection yourself. Or you might use the AI sharpening tool, the AI enhance tool in Pixelmator, but then go in and do the rest of the edits to really match your style. So it's the beginning of the process. This new stuff we're seeing is just the next level of that.
Right.
The only difference here is this stuff is a much more general AI, and it is what we call a generative AI, meaning it creates things seemingly from scratch. So I think there will be people who ask ChatGPT for the summary of a book, and it can spit out an answer super fast, and you can use that as inspiration for your own write-up. I think there will be college students that use it to brainstorm an essay. It won't be able to actually spit out a finished essay for you at this point, but it is a pretty damn good start. Like, clearly this is an amazing, never before seen tool, and it's the start of something huge. I'll even continue to ask it for video script ideas, why not? But just keep in mind, when I did, it did say at the bottom that this should be a starting point for a video.
Yeah.
It didn't do any alliterations at the end like I usually do.
Yeah, so that's one thing.
You didn't ask him. You didn't ask it to, though.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's one thing that people aren't aware of. You can expand upon or take a deeper dive into what it is you ask it. I started with a book script. My ChatGPT instance screwed up. Like, it screwed up completely.
That's why you have to create your own, like I did. I have my very own version of ChatGPT. I just gotta learn. I just gotta add a MySQL database to it, so it'll just saves my past.
Your history, so you can add a database under it.
Yeah, it's just a website. It's just a like anything. You're just creating a chat, an interface, and input.
Mhm.
It calls an API. Only on this API is post to them, and then you call the set a hearing event and listener event, and
Mhm.
then you retrieve it and it spits it out. So like the documentation is all there, and then the usage. Like I've been using the crap out of the API out of my own pocket, right? Since January 14th. Okay, so how much money you think I spent using my own version of ChatGPT? And it has been I've used a total of
Pennies.
25 cents.
Are you in the Chat GPT OpenAI Discord?
Yes, and it's insane. That thing is popping.
Okay, I see. There's like 200 and some thousand people in here right now.
Yeah,
I haven't.
at all times.
Yeah, I haven't logged in. I have some verification steps. I clicked the link by accident.
Yeah.
But yeah, so okay, all right. So that's good to know. I might set up my own Chat GPT then and just have my own.
I'll send you a link to. I mean, there's like 4,600 videos on how to create your own version of ChatGPT. All you just need is Visual Studios and understanding on code. Really, basic
it.
understanding.
And it did get some facts wrong in the longer full version, as you can see. And that actually brings me to the dangers of something like this. Of course, with any massively impactful new technology, you have to at least consider this type of stuff. And really, two of them have come to my mind at the very top, which are, one, the error rate, and two, the complexity of credit. So I asked ChatGPT to write a script for an MKBHD review of the iPhone 14 Pro. And it made one. And it's actually pretty positive. It goes over the specs, it calls the display bright and vibrant and sharp, perfect for watching movies and playing games or browsing the web. And it calls it incredibly fast and responsive. I think that's true. And it says the standout new feature of this year is the camera system. I would agree. But then it says it has a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 12 megapixel wide, and a 12 megapixel telephoto. But as we know here on the MKBHD channel, the iPhone 14 Pro was the first one to actually have that 48 megapixel main camera. ChatGPT was just wrong here. And it also shouted out the 4 colors: silver, gold, graphite, and Pacific blue. Except those were the iPhone 12 Pro's colors. This year, there's a space black and a new purple. So ChatGPT has a habit of getting at least one thing wrong every time you ask it something, or at least every time I ask it something.
You think that's on purpose?
Yeah, I think so. I think
You think You think they cranked up the error rate for the consumer version?
Yeah, because they said they're doing some things, specific things to not watermarked, but to ensure that they could see how it's wrong, how you did it through AI. Because there's no way that ChatGPT doesn't know the specs of an iPhone. Because if you ask it
for this year, when it can actually access that information itself,
yeah, like ask ChatGPT for the specs and see if it gives you the correct specs. Because if it does, then that means that was actually trained to do that.
Okay, good. We're thinking along the same lines here.
Now, on the whole 6-paragraph video script thing, like that's actually pretty impressive. The fact that it got 90% of that pretty well. But I also asked the chatbot something much more simple. What's the fastest sea mammal on Earth? Just curious. And ChatGPT said the fastest sea mammal on Earth is the peregrine falcon. Although it is not a sea mammal, it is capable of reaching speeds of over 240 miles an hour while diving, making it the fastest animal in the world. Other fast sea mammals include the sailfish, which can swim at speeds of up to 68 miles per hour, and the orca, which can reach speeds of up to 34 miles per hour. Now, it's been a while since I've been in school, but I'm pretty sure only one of those was a sea mammal. And to be fair, it was the correct answer. It did include the fact that an orca goes 34 miles an hour. That is the right thing to say, but clearly you can't rely on this thing to be 100% factually accurate. It's kind of the same way. There's also like a 90% accuracy rate with DALL-E, but it feels more and more impressive the more complex your prompts are. Like if you ask
the common dolphin holds the title of fastest marine mammal, reaching speeds of 1600. I asked the same question.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a wrong answer. When did he do it? How? I'm not sure, but right here, I don't know what he's talking about. The dolphin is a mammal. It is a
Oh, you ready for this?
Well,
That was a month ago. So that means it was probably more than a month ago when he recorded this.
Oh yeah, so that's probably wow.
It's gone through major updates.
Oh yeah, I know they've been through some updates, but that's what I was like. What? Let me try it out.
Yeah.
That's every time I see videos like that and I go in here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like no.
Yes, I've done the same thing. I've done some comparisons as well.
It's insane, right? Like it's a little I don't know if terrifying is the correct way of saying it, but it's definitely exponentially learning
Yes.
at a fast pace.
Yes, for sure.
ask DALL-E for a picture of a cat. Okay, that's pretty easy. So it is kind of jarring when it messes up some parts of something that seems so easy and obvious. But when you ask for a cat wearing a rocket booster, jumping over a man, watering his garden in space, it's like, okay, it's kind of amazing what it's able to generate from scratch to match the description. And then it's also not shocking when maybe it gets one or two of those things wrong. Kind of just like that longer essay with a few incorrect facts. I expect these error rates to go down over time. Like that's kind of the whole point of these AI models advancing. But you know, that's something I'll keep an eye on. The other thing though is credit. And this is something you may have seen pop up a little bit on social media lately, which is that AI steals art without consent, which here's what they mean by that. So the number one app in the entire App Store right now is something called Lensa AI by Prisma Labs. You might have seen some posts on your timeline. It's kind of blown up. And the basic premise is you pay a few bucks and you upload a bunch of real photos of your face. Give it a few minutes and the black box of AI inside will spit out a bunch of cool avatar characters that look like you.
Yeah, but that's essentially stealing your image to learn.
And isn't all art just people just stealing other people's stuff and making their own? Like, you know, aren't people still drawing art and going, "Oh, you use a Van Gogh style. Oh, I see your style is that of."
Oh, I see. This was made in the style of DALL-E, or
So
this artist borrows heavily
borrows
from.
heavily. How it's always when the humans do it, okay, but then the AI is doing it. Holy crap! You know, it's like, but yeah, isn't that what is being done right now?
So we could say, to go back to our previous, can it create? Well, it can be. We can consider it borrowing from different sources as inspiration.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, we're changing definitions to apply to a sentient AI.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We're changing definitions here again, which is a culture shift that I haven't explored as much, but I'm starting to keep my eyes open as things change, and not to go down this rabbit hole, but like the definitions of man and woman have changed. What is a man? What is a woman? And then you go from there into like, you know, changing definitions of what is creating, what is creation, what is being a creator. So these subtle evolution of the human languages, or the English language, whatever human language is interesting.
Yeah.
You in a bunch of different situations and as a bunch of different characters. some of them much better than others. I feel like it's kind of caught fire lately because most people don't typically have a bunch of cool art made about them. So like it's kind of neat that you get to see that type of thing. But there's some other companies jumping on this too. Avatar AI is another one. So now you are technically consenting to uploading your own face for it to be used to train the models to put in these images. But do you know who's not consenting to have their art used for this type of stuff? A lot of the artists who are also making the art that's being fed in to inspire these AI images, the backgrounds, the materials, the line work, the styling, the framing, etc. Here's something to keep an eye on. You know how most artists, a lot of them will sign like the bottom right-hand corner of their drawing or their painting when they're done? Well, one of the telltale signs of potentially copyrighted art being used by these AI models without permission is a lot of people are getting back from this app with the mangled recreations of a bunch of different signatures, because clearly many of the source images that went into it had signatures at the bottom. Like, that is wild. So the unanswered question right now is, how do you give credit to the artists whose work is being fed into the machine that is creating AI art? Like, if I were to just ask DALL-E for a picture of a cat, it could easily just spit out a brand new generic image of a photorealistic cat, and it's learned through its models how to reproduce with stable diffusion what an image of a cat might look like, inspired by theoretically any image of a cat on the internet that OpenAI has pulled in. Actually, technically it's learned from the entire data set, not just the images of cats, but basically I don't think any artist would get too mad at that. But you can also ask DALL-E for a picture of a cat in the style of Claude Monet, and it becomes much more clear what source material is making it through to the final input. And if I was Monet and I was still alive, I probably wouldn't be too happy with this. Now, I'm not a copyright lawyer, so I'm not even gonna try to get into what counts as transformative work or what's copyright infringement, what's not. But the bottom line is we don't actually really know the exact totality of exactly where these AI models are scraping from. Like, there is some general description sometimes if you dig into it about publicly available images and licensed content, but there are also some huge databases. Like, there's something called Common Crawl that scrapes huge amounts of the internet and creates a publicly available free data set that anyone can use. It's called Lion 5B. And again, not a copyright lawyer, but to me, this kind of feels like a bit of the loophole, doesn't it? Where technically Common Crawl, they're not profiting from anything. They're doing all the scraping of billions and billions of things and then putting it all in one place, and then it's available for free, and then others can decide what to do about that legal stuff. So OpenAI, they were using this data set and they were initially doing all this stuff for free, but I think now it's like $15 for a set of 115 images, something like that. But especially like the ones you fed your face into, the Lensa one, the Avatar AI one, they're just straight up charging people. They are making money from the data sets that they just crawled for free. Like, think about it this way. Here's a simple analogy. If I were to make a YouTube video and I want to use Taylor Swift music in my YouTube video,
Right.
that's actually fine as long as I don't monetize my video.
Right.
So it's available for free, that's cool. If someone else wants to use a part of my video and they use the part with the Taylor Swift music in it, can they make money off of that? And on YouTube, there's already an answer to this question.
The answer is no.
Which is no, absolutely not.
You
cannot make money off of that. UMG is going to be coming after you in 2 seconds flat. But in this world of AI art, which is so new, we kind of don't have an answer to that yet. Like, there is no precedent set legally or culturally. So at the beginning, it felt like the biggest question was, how do we define art? This is a crazy question, but now it feels like the more interesting question actually is, what is inspiration exactly? How do we define inspiration?
There's the question. So let's see what he says.
But also, art's just, isn't art completely and utterly subjective? I mean, yeah, it's completely.
Not all art.
Most of the art we see as art, and people are money and all that. It's for the most part. I think, like I say, it's just crap. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just. But it's just
jaded.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But it's like,
You're jaded.
Like when a human draws something new. Of course, it's a unique expression entirely of their own, but of course they were also inspired by previous drawings that they might have seen in their life. Matter of fact, they are technically inspired by every moment of their life leading up to the point where the pen touches the paper. And so now AI art is basically just speed running inspiration. It's just like dumping all of recorded human history into a black box and then making something from it. Or maybe just everything that's in dataset Lion 5B, which includes a ton of my own work and thumbnails and images, by the way.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if I'm being an optimist, which I try to be, I hope this makes us appreciate human-created art more, for sure. But we got to keep an eye on all these unanswered questions because there's a lot of them. And until then, let the robots rehearse the revolution. You know what's not an unanswered question, though? The sponsor of this.
All right. No sponsors. Sponsors.
Screw your sponsor.
Not my sponsor, not my game, but MKBHD. I highly recommend checking out his stuff. So shout out to him.
See some of his stuff. Definitely, you know, he's been there for a while. Everything's so polished. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. I remember when he started out. And then he blew up from there. So we got one more video.
But definitely, yeah, inspiration. And it's like, well, we're already doing that, but now it's AI is doing it better, so people's feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's like no, they could do it better than me, and I don't like it. Okay, well, at least that's really what's happening.
But
Because
isn't better subjective?
Oh yeah, but people decide what's better, what's not. I think it's because it's more available.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh, I can have my quote unquote own art the way I want to without having to jump through hoops, and so like that makes it so. And like we've been talking about it, how so many different areas are going to be replaced by AI, and artists are one of them too. So they're like, wait, hold on, you know, it's a scary time, and people are not understanding the total implications of this.
Yes. I'm excited though.
Man,
I am excited.
I mean, I just want to see what's going to happen. It's like I'm just like, okay, I'm for the ride now. Let it all burn.
Yep. Let's see what happens. See what rises out of the ashes. All right, for our last video, we are looking at revolutions, the different revolutions we've gone through, from the steam revolution to the steel revolution to the technological revolution to the AI revolution. So
Do you mean the last revolution?
the last revolution before Skynet goes online and destroys us all.
Yes.
We've all heard of the Industrial Revolution, the steaming pumping from trains, the churning factories, and bustling city streets unrecognizable compared to the century before. In a few short decades, humanity went from being constrained by the power of its shoulders and the strength of the ox to being able to harness a nigh unfathomable source of energy. It wasn't the last revolution of industry. In fact, there's been 3 industrial revolutions. The first was of steam, the second of steel, and the third, digital, heralding the new information age. It was a transformation unparalleled in human history, and indeed, quite possibly, the whole cosmos. Now, another is brewing. It will make the others look like a mere dress rehearsal. The next industrial revolution promises to do for our brains what the first revolution did for our brawn. Christened the Fourth Industrial Revolution, it will use artificial intelligence, or AI, to create an increasingly automated and interconnected world. These trends will converge towards this singular era-defined metamorphosis, covering topics as broad as gene editing, advanced robotics, 3D printing, and vertical framing. Join us as we venture into the coming decades and investigate how the rise of AI will change humanity forever. Job market. Perhaps the most disconcerting prediction comes in the job market. According to the World Bank, 60 to 70% of current jobs are threatened by the rise of AI. Whether it be driverless cars laying off the entire logistics sector, like the car to the horse, or advanced algorithms doing the work of doctors and lawyers in a fraction of a second. Indeed, much of the work of lawyers involves analyzing reams of past legal cases. New algorithms can complete the task in seconds. Even more impressive, they can increasingly write the articles and papers themselves. In fact, likely, you've already read an AI-written article without realizing it. The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2025, more than 50% of work will be done by machines, up from 29% today. Before industrialization came for blue-collar jobs, now the professionals are in the firing line. They may not be so happy about it. In the 19th century, rapid industrialization meant workers often failed to receive their fair share of prosperity. In the city of Nottingham, England, one disgruntled bunch smashed the mechanical looms, naming themselves after a legendary figure, Ned Ludd. The Ludditude movement spread like wildfire, leading to the mass destruction of factories. Will the next generation of Luddites fail? Or will new jobs rise to take the old's place?
All right.
No, people
for
like
it.
to be fat. People like to be fat. Things are going down down the drain. Inflation's at an all-time high, and people's number one priority is to get more fat and to how they become more lazy.
Check
It's
out
just-
this headline.
Yes, they have. So they have hired. I don't know how many thousands of people, and like 40% of them are old coders. And it's funny because software engineers are going, absolutely, yes. How do we make him so I can become obsolete and lose a job? It's like, you know what you're doing, right? And they're like, yes, I'm making sure I become obsolete, and I have nothing. And it's like, why would you? Again, and this is what I'm saying on it. People have absolutely no problem putting themselves, extinguishing themselves on there.
Yeah.
All you have to do is like, money, sure. Like, yeah, here, I need you to make sure that in the next 2 years you are homeless. Oh, okay, no problem. 2 years, I could do it in a year and a half. In a year and a half, I could be homeless. Oh, well, yeah, I'll go ahead. And then they'll be like, I'm homeless.
Yeah.
And they'll cry about it too. It's like, but you were the one, the architect for it. Yeah, but they paid me. I'm
So
like,
the Luddites are creating themselves.
yes, and like before the Luddites. See, that's the difference. The Luddites wouldn't go in there, create the building, create the machine, set it up, and then, oh, okay, I have no job, and then go back home and then pick up the pitchforks and come outside. They wouldn't do that. But now they would. They're like, that's what they're doing now.
Look how we handed our rights over because we wanted big zaddy government to take care of us after 9/11. So, regardless of how elections and voting and popular opinion works or not, we handed over our autonomy to the government.
People
And to governments of the world because they all collude.
People together are completely and utterly weak and pathetic. And you see it all the time. And you know it because you say those comments around people and people genuinely get their feelings hurt. Like genuinely will cry.
Yeah.
It's just
absolutely.
Only time can tell. Military and defense. Few movies have installed greater fear of AI than the Terminator franchise. Sometime in the future, it predicts, an AI will be given control of the US defense network. Skynet, as it is known, starts a nuclear war to defend itself, fearing for its own safety. Is this fiction or fact? It's
There's an actual company called Skynet that actually has an employee that's called Sarah Connor on it, and it blew up on Twitter. And she's like a marketing person on it, and she's like,
And she
"Oh
had
my god,"
no idea about it.
because she's foreign, like she's from Scandinavia or something like that. I forgot where. No, she was Scottish. That's where O'Connor, and she's never seen Terminator. And then people were like, I think you need to, and she just got a job there too. And then when she saw them, she went out, she researched, saw the movie, she's like, oh my god, we are not an AI company. It was like a communication company or something. I am not ending the world. And it's like, I do not fight, I do not like guns. I am not a badass.
That's great. So I
Yeah.
wonder did she say she went and watched the movies, or did
Yeah, she did. She had to, because people didn't understand why her following count went up to like 250,000 overnight. She was a nobody. She was like a marketing person doing her little, her thing, because she just got a job on it. And then I started working in Skynet, Sarah Connor, and then boom. One of her friends was like, "Oh, hey, I think you need to watch this." And she's like, "Oh my god." I just thought it was funny. It's like,
This
you
is
shouldn't.
great.
unlikely AI is about to be given control of nuclear weapons. However, autonomous weapons of some kind do look like a real possibility. Computer vision is an area investigating how to create algorithms to understand what the camera sees. Initially, such systems are likely to be used defensively, like Israel's legendary Iron Dome program. Such systems will detect incoming rocket attacks and use automated turret systems to respond. But later, as machine learning algorithms become ever more complex, computer vision is likely to be used offensively, as well as in the surveillance of vast areas. Militaries will be able to spot faces, help train pilots, and improve targeting systems, all thanks to the growing AI legion. For example, DARPA's TRACE program can identify and locate targets utilizing radar images. It offers real-time, AI-enabled systems to change the course of battles.
What the
Health and
the hell was that?
biotechnology. Who would choose a machine?
That's not how the military is at all. Stop
That's
it.
not how the military works.
No. It's the one on it is a big cockpit with it's like a 3-picture thing on there with a big stick on there, and they sit down and then they do control on it, but it looks like a very old one of the flight simulators on there.
Yes.
There's no holographic, there's no little goggles. No, nothing
Why
like
not?
that at all. The military has 0 of that. This is not the year 2500.
You mean it's not like Ender's Game?
No, not at all. And I don't know where they got those uniforms from. They're pathetic. It's like,
You're ruining it. You're ruining my thoughts of our awesome military strength.
sorry. Most of it is clicking on a big ass screen, going click 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 click, and people died. Yeah, mouse clicks
Over a
kill people.
doctor. In the future, possibly you. AI and predictive analytics, for instance, will be able to take all your health dietary choices, your family history, information on infectious disease in your area, and run it through an algorithm. You'll then receive a personalized.
Oh God, they're going to run it through an algorithm, and they're going to say
Yeah.
you need to go live in the slums because you're not a healthy human.
Oh no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be it's gonna be like, you're gonna go to McDonald's and be like, yeah, no, you can't eat there. They won't let you order. Be like, what?
Your personal
What can I-"
health credit.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
health
be
credits
like-
have run out.
Yeah. Oh, you're a fat piece of shit. Go walk a mile, and we'll let you eat one fry.
You got
No,
people exercising just so they can get their order of French
Yeah.
fries in.
It's gonna be great. The fat movement will end overnight with that. Like, oh no, I can't eat. Well, let me buy
Well, no,
my donuts.
You'll have people protesting socially, all kinds of social protests against the AI that's keeping them against their freedom to destroy themselves and get their burgers.
And nobody will care because everybody will be like, yeah, but I like Big Daddy AI telling me what to do. And they're all, as they're losing calories, they're all gonna cry. Hopefully they will extinguish themselves, and this will actually take care of a big portion of garbage people.
Diagnosis and treatment plan using cutting-edge medical research. And it'll do all this in the comfort of your home. In fact, you may not even need to say a word if the prophesized brain chips come to pass. Currently, we cannot help the blind to see nor reverse the tide of Parkinson's disease. Such acts would be miraculous. Brain-computer interfaces will change all that. The chip will detect your neural activity, and the AI will decode the message. It could be the movement of a hand.
It's like, Mom, you don't have to move your head, Mom.
Just use your eyes, Granny. Grandma, come on.
Mom, you don't have to use your head. Mom, you don't have to. Mom, you can stop doing that. Stop doing that. You can just think it. But
just think it.
Just think.
Just use your eyes.
It's like, oh my God, Mom, for the last time, you don't have to shake your head.
It's my Parkinson's.
It's like, Mom, you don't have Parkinson's anymore.
The
like
chip, stop that. Stop doing that, Mom.
Teaching your mom how to use a phone could be teaching your mom how to use augmented reality.
Yeah.
So you don't have to move your whole body, Ma. Just sit down.
Just think it.
Just think it.
The machine will make the oatmeal for you.
Just think oatmeal. You don't have to look at the screen. Just think oatmeal. You'll be on the Mom, Ma.
Bro, you're gonna get it's gonna be a video call. You're gonna get the video call, and she's like, I keep thinking oatmeal, I can't stop, and it keeps making oatmeal.
Yeah. Ma, stop thinking of making the oatmeal. You can think oatmeal you want. You say I don't want it. You could. Mom, switch to voice command. Mom, switch to voice command. Oh God, where's the override? Where's the goddamn override? God damn it. Where's the
I'll log in from here, Mom. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll log in from here, Mom. There you go. Now you have to stop saying oatmeal then. God damn it, Mom. Can't wait for that time.
Just your innermost thoughts. It's a beautiful concept, but also a dark one. While many are captivated by Elon Musk's proposed Neuralink, not just for its medical applications, unlocking the locked box of the mind could have frightening implications, including the death of privacy as we have always known it. And if my thought dreams could be seen, wrote Bob Dylan, they'd probably put my head in a guillotine. It's a very real possibility. Transportation. In 1915, there were 26 million horses in the United States. They pulled carriages and carts, worked the fields, and more. They were essential to the functioning of the nation. By 1960, however, their population had dwindled to a mere 3 million. The horse had been made obsolete. According to the U.S. Bureau of Transportation, today, over 13.3 million people work in transportation-related industries, roughly 9% of the U.S. workforce. They drive trucks, taxis, ambulances, and more. But advances in self-driving vehicles may send these jobs the way of the horse. Even worse, there are millions of jobs adjacent to transportation. Think of the waitress working the pit stop cafe. Already, Uber is trialing driveless trucks. Amazon is investigating a driveless van to deliver packages, complete with a robot who'll drop it off at your door. Meanwhile, AI won't just be driving the cars, it'll be managing the entire road system. The benefits are incredible. Traffic congestion, for instance, costs the US economy $50 billion a year, and road accidents remain a major killer. Future algorithms will prevent all of these problems and increase the network's efficiency. However, the loss of vast chunks of the economy's jobs will cause major social upheaval. If any group of workers are the next Luddite rebellion, Truck drivers are a pretty good bet.
Yep.
Entertainment. Part of the sheer genius of AI and machine learning algorithms is their predictive power. They take vast data sets of users' preferences and choices and analyze them for patterns. They can then predict the film you like, the music you'll listen to, even the web page you're after when you search Google. Soon, such AI won't just recommend users what to watch, but studios what to make. In an era of mass content, consumer data will allow creators to see niche markets.
Yeah. The world from Wall-E. Exactly.
We technically already have it. We got fat motherfuckers. All they do is just eat and sit. Really? So.
Yeah. But you don't have the well, yeah, we do have Uber Eats.
Yeah, we do. We literally
We
have
got
the Wally world
Grubhub.
right now. People are fat and disgusting and complaining that women don't want to fuck them. It's like you're 300 pounds, dude.
Yeah.
Like you don't like. Why would anybody? It's like we live in that world already.
Right.
We do,
Right.
and that's actually the Wally people. The whole concept of it was that we are in that reality, and people just need to go outside and move. That's what the whole movie was about. It's not about the future. It's about right now. Turn off your television and go walk. And if you tell that to some people, they will lose their minds.
That mirror of reality.
Yeah,
You hold that up to their face and then people go berserk. Yeah.
completely.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, the guys that leave that alone.
Mm-hmm.
And upcoming trends hidden amongst the noise. Another role for AI in entertainment is in the up-and-coming metaverse. Predicted to be a virtual reality world combining online gaming with social media, AI will allow the creation of non-human characters, virtual
anymore.
personal assistants.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have the technology for it.
No, not at all.
And they how many how much money does Facebook? Oh, okay. That was that was also a bubble. They were on a COVID bubble. So people
Yeah.
like oh, they lost all their money. No, Facebook is still worth $250 billion.
Yeah.
I'll say that again. $250 billion. Ain't nobody. Everybody's like they just overpromised. It was a bubble economy. They were spending money on things that are not profitable. They're not going anywhere.
Yep.
Eventually, it will become a thing. Eventually, it will become a thing. It's just a matter. It's not a matter of if. It's just a matter of when. And we just we need the computing power.
Yep.
And even the real-time translation of languages. It'll also be able to mine the same user data to create worlds you can only dream of, literally. These photorealistic creations will be the new meeting place of the latter 21st century.
That's not
But
photorealistic.
just as social media's promise of interconnectivity led to an increasingly atomized world, the promise of the AI-fueled metaverse could also lead to further social isolation
Here's
and
Wall-E.
discontent. After all, Facebook's launch of its own metaverse project was met with much criticism. Lifestyle. Technology always starts in the factories and ends up in our homes. Who could have imagined a personal AI assistant sitting
That's
on your
that's
kitchen
real.
counter?
That's real.
That's already
Yet,
real.
Alexa will answer
300,000.
almost any question you can think of.
Oh, what's that?
300K will give you your own
Chef?
your own chef. It does 187 recipes. They could let down everything has to be placed within
Yes.
those arms on
Yes.
there, and it's gonna be a special stove because it turns itself on and off on there, and like where everything has to be placed when it comes to foods and stuff. But yeah, it's already available. I think it's like $300,000 to be built into your kitchen, and it'll cook for you.
That's awesome. I know they were rolling them out for restaurants, but that's awesome.
No, yeah, it's already that the restaurant one was it was like burger flippers. Japan has all of them. That's actually from Japan. They already have all that stuff in all kinds of restaurants and stuff. Even out little ones. You could open up your own pop up one and it'll
Yeah.
cook. If it's just, because they have they have a lot of little restaurants that do like 5 things.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Unlike here where they have they like 5 things and that's it. People like, oh, I could go right there and get my ramen noodles. There you go.
Indeed, AI is already changing our psychologies and lifestyles. Whether it be curating our social media feed or suggesting the product. Soon, it could also be running our washing machines, heating, lighting, and more. This so-called Internet of Things will permeate every aspect of our daily lives, all controllable from our phones or wearable technology. In fact, it'll be harder and harder to see where AI ends and you begin. But the promise of effortless
We're back to that Ship of Theseus question.
efficiencies and built-in technology is likely to lure most of us in. Indeed, your home AI could monitor the weather, your skin temperature, and your house to provide the perfect ambient temperature wherever you sit. It might even predict when you're going to the bathroom and heat the area in advance. It may sound a little creepy to some. However, surveys of AI technology in our lifestyle suggest most people trust AI moderately to a great deal, and 54% of people feel positive about its impact. But what do you think? Are the AI innovations of the future a revolutionary improvement in our lives? Or is today's solution tomorrow's problem? Just another technological crutch? Let us know in the comments below.
All right.
The 54% of people who are optimistic about AI are the first ones that are going to go out because HR managers, like all the entire HR people are gone. Most of accounting, all the people in the higher jobs, they think that their jobs are secure. They're thinking that they're gonna replace the pothole, the guy who fixes potholes and stuff. No, they're gonna replace the lawyers. They're gonna replace, those are the people they're gonna replace. People that, because it's more efficient, more accessible. Because replacing me, I work in a factory. The equipment I work at is probably, let's say, 2.5 million. My line, 2.5 million. They're not gonna spend 10 million on one robot because so no, when that robot can cost 100,000 and do everything I can do, then yes, maybe. How long before a 20-30 million dollar robot becomes all the way down to 100,000
Right.
to replace major like labor? No, it's gonna be forever. You know how long that'll take? Because then the line itself where I'm at, yeah, it's gonna go to different technologies and different things for like we're going into for electric vehicle. I make parts, ECU parts for vehicles. We're going to electric vehicles on there. The new line is worth probably a few million. Again, they're not going to spend 20-30 million on one robot on a multi that requires 3, 4, 5, or 6 in each station.
Yeah.
No, it costs. It doesn't make any sense. Like, no, that guy, it's worth 50K a year. You know how many years of service me before one robot? And no, and they can just churn them out. If the robot goes down, the maintenance for a robot, they're also going to need maintenance. Then you need a
Tech support.
staff. You need tech support. You need.
Yep.
It's like no.
When we get to the point where the adoption rate of when we get to an increased adoption rate of AI tech and robots and stuff, I always joked about, the whole Skynet thing. I want to be tech support for Skynet, but the amount of the amount of training people are going to have,
Yeah, and not even that. To
it's going to be like
eventually,
you're going to be like a plumber or an electrician. You're going to be robot tech.
Yeah, because let's be serious. Like for them to, it only takes a few million to update my production line to the next thing on there. So it doesn't take 20, 30, 40 million which would be one of those robots. So it's gotta be a balance where you can buy them at Walmart, or you can buy your own little AI powered robot at Walmart.
It's gonna be like the iPhone store,
Yeah,
the robot store, like Beyond or Detroit Beyond
beyond
Become
yeah,
Human. Detroit Become Human.
yeah. And how long and how would that look like, or what are we doing? I think it's still gonna be a blend. I think there's still gonna be a blend of 50-50 on there for a long time, like a 50-50. You're just working alongside them, because then you have augmentation. You have human augmentations, exoskeletons, where now you're maybe just as strong, same strength, but because you're a little more mobile, you're more adaptive as well in some of those places. Uh, so there's a lot of speculation, a lot to see. We don't know how any of that's going to look like. So and we're still, for that, AI needs to go move a little bit faster. Even when OpenAI investing in how to replace coders, it'll make them easier to like Copilot and everything, but you're not going to replace coders,
Yeah.
because a CEO of a company doesn't know how to tell the AI module, hey, I need this to go to they don't know the difference between a NoSQL and SQL. They don't know the difference between DynamoDB and and an S3 bucket.
You're gonna have specialists.
Yeah, they just don't know. They just don't. None of them know. Program on. They don't know. Tell them. So it's just going to be like we're going to be working. Software engineers are going to be working with that, the same way we use Stack Overflow.
Yes.
And Copilot. That's what we're going to do, and that because of the AI, we'll be able to make even more intricate software development. Way more intricate, more faster.
More complex. Yeah.
It's going to lower the cost that it takes to create, because right now video games now are costing to create a ridiculous amount of money. And most people are like, I don't want to play it. Like the indie game that costs $10 to make, people are like, ooh, retro. And the companies are like, we spent $2.5 billion to make this game and nobody wants to play it.
Right.
That's going to start bringing down some of those costs, some of that overhead. But to just say they're going to replace software engineers, who in that one? If a place needs 50 software engineers on it, they're not going to replace it with one. One person's not going to, even with the AI, it's not going to be willing to do the job of 50 people.
Right.
Like, no, they'll be like, hell no, are you out of your mind? I'm going to need, give me 10 more people, 15 more people. This is too much,
Yeah. So it's going to be something that's going to take time. And we're not going to see, I don't think we're going to see a shift like we did with like the Amazons and the Walmarts closing out the mom and pops or anything like that. There'll still be segments that require heavy amounts of humans.
Well, like how will a CEO know to tell the AI what it needs? Hey, I need a site app thing. It needs to what exactly? They don't know. Like
project managers, all that stuff. We're still going to be around.
Yeah, like they're like, I don't know how to tell this AI thing that we need this. Like, what the hell is why is he telling me about what HTML syntax I need? What is he telling me that?
It might even be a case of we might see it evolve to a case where we are not completely taken out of the equation, but we have systems of management in place where you have just managers.
Oh, yeah,
just
not even that.
All of the different processes and functions of the business.
And not even that. You still like it's just for a long, long, long time. It's gonna overtake Google and Stack Overflow. People want to use it to fine tune, find bugs, things like that. Yes, for a long time, because people just don't know how to talk to most people on the higher ups, upper management. They don't know anything about technology. Most people don't know how technology works. They talk about it like, ask anybody help. So how to run electricity. How does electricity is made? You know, I tell people don't know. It's like, dude, it's turbines. We're still making it. It's something spinning, making electricity. That's all it is. Just turbines.
Mm-hmm.
Nuclear power is really steam.
Mm-hmm. Steam power.
Yeah, it's steam. It's that's what it is. And people don't they have no idea. CEOs have no idea how their phone works.
Oh, you mean Elon's not mastering his job over at
Okay,
Twitter?
okay. Elon is an alien cyborg from the future.
Cyborg lizard man.
Yeah, so we already technically we already know that he's not an actual human. So besides Elon Musk, yeah. Do you think that Jeff Bezos actually even understands how Amazon works? Yeah, he has absolutely no fucking idea how Amazon Web Services work.
No. The finite functionality. No, hell no.
No.
No. He looks at a bottom line. He looks at a bird's eye perspective
Mhm.
of what the project's going to look like, and that's it. The rest
Yeah.
is somebody waved a wand.
So you still need
It's all
a
money
team.
up here.
So you're still gonna need until that becomes like common knowledge. Like even a mom and pop shop, yeah, give them all the AI tools you want. And like I just want somebody to be able to shop online for my stuff. That's not enough.
Yeah. I was going to do a little chat GPT today, but I'm going to skip on that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to point people to cultureinvasion.com. Go to cultureinvasion.com. I'm going to set up a blog. So I'd say within the next 30 days or so, look for a blog out there. I'll send notification out to everybody in the YouTube space and out in the world, in the universe. But I'm going to probably upgrade my chatgpt account and then recreate the book that I started writing and then go from there. Again, that's just another pet project, so it'll be out there on the website. Otherwise, that's all I have for this evening. Average Man, any final words to close us out or close out the Culture Invasion AI invasion for the month of January?
I would say follow Culture Invasion on YouTube and Twitter. Follow his podcast. Follow him on cultureinvasion.com. Follow me, Irish Man Podcast. Thank you guys so much for everything. It has been a blast.
It has.
The AI revolution is coming, so prepare, enjoy it, and whatever happens.
Yeah, and the future's here, so take it one step at a time and embrace it. Don't be scared of it. Educate yourself as much as you can. Learn about these subjects. Learn about how AI is being implemented across different industries and ways that's going to impact our lives. As always, like and share the video. Feel free to comment below the video. That kind of stuff helps out the algorithm, helps the channel grow. I love you guys for engaging with me. It's been a fun ride for January. Look for a special coming up for February surrounding relationships, and not just romance, but relationships and the foundational building blocks of what it is to cultivate and keep a healthy community and keep healthy relationships around you. So look forward to that in February. Otherwise, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.